Hello soul searchers, and welcome back to my channel where we use tarot to gain better insight into ourselves and the world around us. So I've been playing with the idea of making kind of like an intro video so that you guys can know a bit more about me, who I am, what my beliefs are, and just really make sure y'all know me, I guess, before you start watching my readings. I've been playing with this idea for a long time. I am one of those people who, when I get new information, I have to integrate that and move accordingly. So I'm saying that because these are my current beliefs. This is currently how I practice. Everything that I'm about to say is current, but if anything major changes, I will just come on and do another video and reintroduce myself. Just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. I feel like I have to give so many disclaimers in every single video, and I want to be able to reference this one to just kind of give you a general breakdown of who I am. And then you can take that with you or leave it here. But you can take it with you as you continue interacting with my content, or you can leave it here and go to another channel that may be more suited to you. So let's get into it, please. My name that I go by is Ari.Falolu. My Ifa name, because I am an Awo Ifa, which is basically a student of Ifa. And my Ifa name is Ari.Falolu, which means Ifa is the greatest in the world. And so it is, period. Ashe. On top of being an Awo Ifa, that is like my formal religion. That is what I have been initiated into. On top of that, though, I also read tarot. Have been doing so since 2021. So 5 years I've been reading tarot for myself and for others. I also meditate. I also sometimes dabble in candle magic. I have really been getting into channeling or art magic. I'm not really sure what you want to call it, but basically channeling out different energy, different messages through different types of art. So you've seen, maybe if you've been on my channel, you've seen different songs like Ellaby or Meow Shan's Mercy. I will link both of those somewhere up here as well as in the description box, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But basically just taking these different energies, known and unknown, and putting them out into music, art, paintings, like anything creative. I'm all for it. So I'm starting to just accept that that is a form of magic, and a very important form of magic for my particular practice. What else do you need to know about me? Oh, another thing you should know about me is that I can't say I'm a chaos magician, but I do kind of follow the belief of chaos magic, which chaos magic in and of itself is actually just a belief. The idea of chaos magic and chaos magicians is that nothing is objectively true. Things are only true or only work because of our belief in them. So Ivy Corvus, I reference her all the time because she was my introduction to this theory, this form of practice, and I feel like she's so detailed. Like, the girl is, sorry, not the girl, the lady is well read, and that's one thing I need to do better about, is getting up on my literature. But anyway, I will link her video up here if you want to know more about chaos magic in detail. But basically, you can be like any religion, any spirituality. You could be agnostic and still have a chaos magic perspective, because the perspective of a chaos magician is just that things only work because you believe they work. And as somebody who believes in story as craft, and like the way our beliefs really shape our lives, that theory, that perspective just really works for me. As always with any of my readings, and I would say this for honestly any readings or any pastor, any priest that you go to, you should take everything with a grain of salt. Make sure it actually resonates with you, your intuition, your spiritual team, before you take anybody else's word over your own feeling, okay? Who are my readings meant for? And this is something I've been trying to figure out, because I've learned through having this channel that I don't interact with tarot the way tarot readers traditionally interact with tarot on this platform. By that, I mean, a lot of people, and I'm not knocking anybody, like this isn't meant to sound like a flex. I more so just want to tell you about my journey and like kind of what my struggle has been on YouTube as a tarot reader. So a lot of tarot readers on YouTube do pick a card readings, they do collective readings, they do zodiac readings based off of like, you know, your zodiac signs. They'll do, really popular ones are like the ones that are about other people. Someone is spiritually monitoring you, or what do they think about you, or blah blah blah. And I just, we'll get into my tarot pet peeves in another video, because that one I actually do feel some type of way about, but that's neither here nor there. I've just learned over my 3 years on this platform that I don't interact with tarot in the same way. Part of it I think is because I am a kitchen witch, so to me everything is everything. Like I could take an eyeshadow palette and read that if I wanted to. That's a free idea. Y'all don't take that. I'm gonna do that before I post this video. I'm kidding. No, but I probably could. I could take a pen. I could take like just anything that happens to catch my eye right now and read it and get a message for you if I wanted to. And so I don't interact with tarot. Like I love pick a cards, but I feel like that's not really my strength. I feel like that's also not necessarily what I'm meant to do on this platform with tarot. I really, if you scroll through my channel really quick, you'll see just the myriad of different types of videos. I have makeup inspired by tarot, just like this eyeshadow look. Makeup inspired by tarot, music inspired by tarot, tarot tells, watching a movie, and I got tarot messages. Like it's, I just have a variety of content on here, and I have to allow myself to be able to flow and interact the way I'm meant to. I still love doing my pick a stories, and we will talk about the pick a stories pretty soon. I'm getting to that, just give me a second. But I do pick a stories, I do loteria readings, I do oracle card, like, and then pick a cards with the oracle card. Like I do some of that content, but I just feel like that's not really what I'm supposed to be doing full time. And I love that I'm in this space now where I can just kind of allow myself to be free and flow in whatever direction the wind blows with tarot. Bars, bars, bars. So with all of that being said, let's talk about who my readings are meant for. I always say that the only reason I can tap into certain messages and certain energy is because I resonate. So if you have nothing in common with me, or you perceive that you have nothing in common with me, then nothing that I say in a reading is going to resonate with you, and that's okay. But that's just something to be aware of when watching my readings, is like, that is a belief of mine, is I can only get the message because I can relate. Even if it's not the exact same scenario, I can at least sympathize. A lot of the times I can empathize though. So that's one thing. People who feel stuck, trapped, stagnant, I am absolutely your tarot reader. I I say that with like 99.9% surety, and the 0.1% is just because I know I'm not right all the time. But on that, I feel like I probably would be a reader for you, which is the very reason why I do pick a stories, not pick a cards. With pick a card, you get to choose, I mean, you have to choose intuitively, but you still get to choose your cards, your deck, your pile, for example. But with my pick a stories, it's basically the same cards for every pile, every group, and then the interpretation of those cards changes. And I feel like that's a really important, I feel like that's a really key difference from pick a card and pick a story. It's like if you feel stuck, stagnant, trapped, then you probably feel like you can't choose your cards, or you didn't choose your cards in life anyway. And if that's the feeling, then instead of picking a pile, we instead need to just pick a story. If these are the cards, if this is what we have to work with, what story allows us to move forward and play those cards that we were dealt as best as possible? So if you like I said, if you feel stuck, trapped, stagnant, I feel like I'm probably a reader. That's one sign that you might like some of my content. Okay, I definitely, this is a big one, and honestly this is something that I feel like you should be when you're watching any reader, but I can't speak for other tarot readers on YouTube, so I'm gonna just speak for me. People who understand their own intuition and how it works. Sorry, I have a few notes here. Let me just grab, matter of fact, let me take a sip of my coffee. My readings are for people who understand their own intuition, how it works, what it sounds like, how it interacts with them, how you interact with your intuition. People who know how to use their own discernment, people who are at least a little self-aware. Those are the people my readings are for. If you're looking for somebody to tell you what to do, if you're looking for somebody to follow, that's not me. Now, subscribe by all means, please. But a lot of my readings tend to live in the gray area. Even like the readings that I do for myself, very often it's not so black and white, like yes, this, do this, or no, don't do that. It's more often than not, when I'm going to spirit and asking a question, they're probably answering my question with a question. So it's just, you have to know a little bit about yourself, your intuition, how all of that works. And then outside of that, you also need to know how your perception of me is going to affect how you receive the message, right? There are certain readers, this is where it gets deep, and I'm not saying you have to be this advanced, but the stories we tell ourselves are important. And at the end of the day, I do think that tarot readings are simply stories. You can choose whether they resonate or not, but the way that they come through to me is simply as story. It simply is like energy. So with that being said, it has come to my attention, for example, that there are certain readers that don't speak to me necessarily, but they speak to like soul fragments of me. They speak to different aspects of my spiritual team. They speak to, you know, just these different aspects of me, but not conscious me, you know. There are readers who I had to completely stop watching because I could see how they were reading my shadow side and they were demonizing it. There are some readers that I can only watch in certain states of mind because sometimes they're a little harsh in the way that they put things, which is ironic coming from me because I don't necessarily sugarcoat shit either, but you know, it's different when you're on the receiving end of it, right? So it all depends. But one thing that I have to know when I'm going to another reader's YouTube is myself, and then how I'm perceiving that reader. If I don't find that I have anything in common with them, then I'm not watching. And this has nothing to do, I don't know why I want to go here, but some of you are probably going to think that I only watch black tarot readers or something like that. Like, no, I watch a variety of different races, genders, of different tarot readers on YouTube, but I can find something in common with all of them. I find a resonance with all of them. If I feel like there's nothing on a channel for me, then I'm out. I'm good. And that's just me personally. And that's why I say, if you feel resonance with me on any level, even if it's just something small, then I'm probably your reader. All of that being said, I don't know how to get into this next part actually. Coffee. We're gonna distract ourselves. That's how we're gonna deal with this. I believe that I am in service of the more shadowy aspects. I do believe I'm in service of, I want to say darker, but I already know how y'all are going to take that. But yeah, darker, because it's not necessarily evil, it's just maybe hidden. And not easily recognized all the time. It's usually the things that people shove down through generations and generations. So this is where like the art magic and art as magic aspect kind of comes in, is because I feel like I am in service to, you could call them shadows, idea spirits, anything in the other that just needs to be birthed and wants to be birthed. And I do have this feeling that I haven't been able to get away from, that there's too much stuff clogged up there because there aren't enough artists. And even of the artists that there aren't enough artists who are allowing their work to be seen or allowing their channels to be seen. And so it's almost like that's another person. Okay. I forgot to mention another person who I read for is somebody who is the main character, or at least wants to be the main character. If you want to be the main character but you feel hidden, or like you're always spoken over, or like nobody thinks of you, this is your space. Welcome. Alright, so going back to what I was saying. Yeah, I can't get away from this feeling that there is so much art, so many ideas just waiting to be birthed, and not enough people birthing those things. And even of the people that are creating and channeling out their art, a lot of those aren't allowing their work to be seen. They're not posting it, they're not talking about it, they're just kind of like doing it for themselves. And I'm not here to really tell you what to do, but I do just know kind of what I have to do. And I do feel like I am here specifically to channel out art. And art lives in the shadowy spaces, the shadowy realms, until it becomes physical, right? All of that being said, you get to decide how you want to take my readings. If you want to take them as being something that is for you consciously, if you feel like it's more so for your soul fragments, if you feel like it's for your subconscious, your spiritual team, maybe it's just for entertainment. However you feel, you get to take it however. But I did just want to be clear that I feel like my readings a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, are tapping on something more unseen. Something more shadowy, something that people don't want to face. And it's so funny because of a conversation I had with a friend literally earlier today. Not gonna get into that, but yeah. So that's a little bit about me. And finally, the announcement. I have been going back and forth for a while on whether or not I should offer tarot readings on my website. And I was getting stuck because, again, there's this very specific image that I get when I think about people who do tarot readings and how they do tarot readings and what sort of tarot readings they offer. I just have to constantly remind myself that I don't necessarily interact with tarot in the same way as other people, and that is beautiful and that is valid. So with that being said, I am now offering tarot readings on my website, Ari.Falolu.com. It will also be linked in the description box. But again, remember, I am in service to the art and idea spirits. So if you go on my website, you'll see the listing, but it basically is a listing for the art that lives within you. And so you could tell me as much or as little as you want to, your name, date of birth, and then what you want me to know. Or if you don't want me to know your date of birth, that's fine too, but just tell me kind of what you're feeling. You could tell me about a dream you had. You could tell me whatever you want to tell me, and I will then pull a tarot or an oracle card to channel out the art that lives within you. There are different options for the different types of art. Just choose, and you basically get an art piece all your own. Now, this does not give you rights to the art by any means, because I'm still the one creating it, but it is just a different way of maybe tapping into self and getting a bit more self-awareness. Outside of those readings, the only other readings I will offer are quick yes or no readings, and those responses will come, all of the responses will come via email. So that is it. That is the conversation that I had with Ari today. That is my introduction. I hope this helps you to know a little bit more about me and how I interact with tarot. I've been knowing for a long time that I had to do this video, because knowing how a reader interacts with tarot will better help you know where you align with that reader, if you align at all. So hopefully this helps. Let me know any questions you have down below. I'd be happy to clarify anything if necessary. But yeah, other than that, I hope to see you guys on my website or on my channel again. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see y'all in my next video.